How you like in Georgia?
I am so loving it. I got it up here now. So everyone, okay, so let me see, because we need to make sure that we're good to go.
All right.
Okay, so perfect. Yeah, so we're finally here. I am so happy that you guys are like being patient with us while we were going through that. So welcome into the Renee Adams Show. This is Empowerment Week, and I have my guest Sarah Penland tonight. But just a few things before we get started, I just want to mention if you guys can like, share, and comment here, we will really appreciate it. So tonight I have my guest Sarah, who is the founder and CEO of Stopgap Dental and the H.O.Y.T Project, which is also the name of her app that she invented to those to connect those working in the dental industry with opportunities. Her achievements from launching this app has been in the top apps must-haves list for 2019-2020 and daily app recommendations by Daily Tech Trends and cross-platform app of the week by Intellectual App. So I want to welcome Sarah into the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So if you could just kind of go into telling us a little bit about your backstory and how this all began.
Okay. It all came about in, essentially looking back now, it basically started in 2009 when my little brother died and I walked away from a bad marriage and basically restarted things. At the moment, it looked like everything was kind of like roadblocks, but now I see that it was lining me up of where I needed to be. And the one dentist that randomly took a chance on me and hired me to be a treatment coordinator when I knew nothing about dentistry, and it completely changed my life. So that's
what came from that one thought. I mean, you basically tell the story in it's such a inspirational way of how things came about for you from the death of your brother, and even the start of beginning in the dental industry, and all of this really was well, except for your brother, but the dental industry was really your telltale sign that this was all going to happen for you eventually. So go into that story with us a little bit about how this idea came about for you.
It essentially started a couple years ago when I went to leave for work, and I went to get in the car and something was saying, just change the station. And I live only a few miles from work. You barely have time to listen to a full song. So I kind of resisted it for a little bit, but was like, okay, fine. And I heard the song Sidewalk Prophets by Sidewalk Prophets. It's called Come to the Table. And I saw just as clear as day this center called the H.O.Y.T Center, and all the tables lined up around the block, and I could see my parents, my sister, my brother-in-law, and family, and we're inviting homeless to sit and join us for a meal. And I could see my brother on the stairs, and he just smiled, and he had this perfect little crooked smile, and he said, "This is why." Because for years there was so much why. Why did someone that was so good die so young? And there had to be a reason. There had to be a meaning behind it. And he was like, "This is why." I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's the reason behind this."
Right then and there,
yeah. And as I mentioned when we were talking earlier, I know you're not supposed to bargain with God, but I did. I was like, okay, I will do this. I'll do it, but you've got to give me a way, because doing something that big, it takes more than I have,
right,
and more money. And I'm like, you give me a way, I will do the work. And a few days later, looking on all these forums that I'm part of in the dental industry, I kept seeing all these offices posting the same things, but at the same time, all these individuals were they're looking for this, but there's not a connect. It's like there's this weird divide. And I'm like, I can fix that. And so I started just like sketching out and, drawing like, okay, if this screen does this and this, and if anyone had a camera in my house, they would think that I was a cross between Rain Man and the guy from A Beautiful Mind. It went a little weird because I just like shoved everything off the walls and I'm like pinning, okay, this screen, and if you do this, it'll go to this and it'll do this. And, it went from just little sketches to templates to wireframes and then marketing it out. And on one of the entrepreneur groups that I'm a part of, an incredible lady, Robin, reached out to me and was like, come and talk to us. Because I didn't know anything about an app and trying to shop it out and develop it. If certain things, they're like, here's your app. And they just like hand you all this code and you don't know what to do with it. An amazing company, H.O.Y.T. Okay. I went and met with them and they wanted to take it on and they brought it to life. And
but you said that you came into that meeting, and tell us about that start.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, it was like a 6 a.m. flight and so nervous. When I say, people are always like, oh, you're just fearless. No, I'm scared shitless half the time. Like I just keep going. I was on that plane and I'm like, as soon as we get there, I'm like, excuse me, can I get a double vodka, please? And the flight attendant was like, ma'am, it's 6 a.m. I'm like, hold the judgment, bring the vodka. Just because it's so unnerving when you know nothing about tech.
You an app and talk about an app and the
right. I just like when I got into dentistry, I didn't know the terminology. I just knew I had something that needed to be put into the industry. And like we go in and, I've got all my little color coordinated things and we're in this board table and I'm going through and trying to explain it. They understood the tech side of it, but they didn't understand the dental side of it. So I'm going through that and there gets to a point where finally I'm just like, okay. And I'm like pulling my hair up and I'm like writing, screaming. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. And I'll never forget, Sean looked at me and he goes, are you serious? And I'm literally swallowing vomit because I'm that scared that they're going to laugh me out of this room. And I'm like, I'm serious. And they're like, it's brilliant.
So and the app a little bit so people can understand what the app does.
Right. It's essentially if Uber, a temp agency in the dental industry, got together and had a baby. Because before this, when it came to offices finding last minute coverage, because it happens, life happens, whether, people get sick, their kids get sick, they get jury duty, they just need to go on vacation. But for a dental office in management, when people are out of the office, it puts a massive strain because you damage your reputation potentially, because nowadays people, they won't think anything of going online and doing a bad review if you cancel their appointment and you've stacked the schedule expecting this many people and suddenly you don't. And so many of them have, so many other levels involved. And I remember before, if my phone goes off before 6 a.m., I am cussing like a sailor. I am not saying good things because I know it's not anything good. No one's texting me that hour for anything good other than to say, I'm not going to be there today. And you're like trying to get ready and, stabbing yourself in the eye, like, hey, I know it's early, but is there any way you can cover? Or, going online and begging or, agencies. But now you have the control. You can just open the app, whether it's like I get PTO things for advance, I go ahead and put them in, or if it's last minute, you can just open the app, choose the position you want, and it instantly notifies everyone that is that position type within a 50-mile radius. And they can view the office profile, you can view their profile, and you can direct book. It manages your schedule. So it's not like you're doing this and then having to manage an offsite schedule of this, that, and the other. It does the schedule for you, navigation, you get direct paid. So there's never any cash or anything. And yeah, it was the first one of its kind to ever be live in real time, which is why we were able to file a patent for it before we ever even went live.
That's awesome. Who did
Yeah.
the marketing for you to get the brand and the name out there for you?
At this point, it's been me, myself, and I.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And you've had the app for how many years?
Well, it took me literally working 7 days a week for about 2 years to get the money to do it and pay for it. Because tying back to kind of my motivation, one of the last things my ex had said to me was that I would never be anything or have anything without him.
Wow.
And when I was exhausted and tired and hadn't slept in days, I would just hear that in the back of my mind and I would keep going. And so it took a while to get the money together to do it and bring it live. And we've been live now for not quite a year.
Wow. Yeah. So Sarah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just curious, how much does it take to develop an app?
Whew. It's not cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said that you basically had to save. So
yeah. I saved and I was working in the dental office. Then I would do training with other offices. I did a couple Senate campaigns for a friend of mine. Anything I could do to make extra money to make it happen. Yeah, this wasn't something that was like funded. There was no, backing or anything. It's been purely my blood, sweat, and tears.
Well, and as you mentioned, blood, sweat, and tears, all of those behind you, those rewards are
yes.
The actual people who have companies who have featured her app in these magazines, publications, websites, you name it. So I think that's phenomenal. And as I mentioned to you, you can tell that this has been like your baby that you have, like nurtured and took care of and, helped grow. And it's something that you never even imagined it to be where it is. So congratulations first. And
thank you.
I mean, does it feel like weird to you or surreal that this is happening?
It was like, it's so much work building up to the launch, because there are all the test versions of that. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, when we go live, I'm going to be so excited, like wanting to celebrate. When I saw it go live in App Store and Google Play, I literally just sobbed. Like I sat there and just cried like a baby to say, it's real. It went from these little sketches to this reality that can hopefully change other people's lives like it did with mine. Because back in 2009, that one dentist hiring me completely changed the trajectory of my life.
Wow.
And put me on a path that I never would have been on. And it's like, if I can create an app that can do that for other people and give them the opportunities, whether they are looking for, a new full-time job or, they're a single mom that needs to pick up some extra hours, because let's face it, in the dental industry, we're typically not open more than 4 days a week, but people need to work more. And this makes it easy for them. You control your schedule. You're essentially your own boss. You can market yourself. You can do that. And that's ultimately everything that I wanted it to be able to do for people, is just create opportunities with the dental industry, while at the same time, it creates opportunities and benefits those that have nothing to do with the dental industry through the H.O.Y.T Project.
Yes, and go into that a little bit for everyone who doesn't know what the H.O.Y.T Project is. Just to give a little elaboration on that so people understand.
Well, my little brother's name was H.O.Y.T. It's a family name, and
oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. when he died, there were so many people that came to his funeral that didn't even know his name. They had just said that they heard the boy with the mohawk and the halo died. You know, he had a little mohawk haircut and this big external metal halo around his leg from the accident. And one by one, they were just sharing these stories of how their paths crossed with him by him doing a random act of kindness. He would bring strays home. I mean, my mom, I can't even count how many times she probably walked home and there was either a person or an animal in there, and he's just like, hey, they're here, I'm helping them. And that was his being. He was such an incredible person. And I remember sitting there at the funeral and, just looking at him and all these people, and it's a very sombering moment when you realize if that were me laying there, there wouldn't be half as many people. And
live with that every single day.
Yeah. And I knew he was too great to be forgotten. And so that's what my family and I decided to do, that we were going to keep his legacy alive and the good that he did and helping others. He's a Marine. Proudest day of his life was when he walked across the graduation floor there and became a Marine. And he was just so giving. And that we realized that that was the perfect way for us to continue to honor him and help others, that if he were here, he would be helping. And
thank you so much for sharing that. Sometimes I do not realize the rabbit hole that I go into until, it actually happens. But I'm so grateful that you were able to get that out.
Yes.
Foremost, and just to share that, because it really is, Sarah, it's inspirational. It's a very surreal moment, but also it's very emotional for you because you have to tell the story of your inspiration and how all of this happened. And I think it's a beautiful story when it really comes down to it. So I really appreciate you for telling that story the way that you did.
Thank you. And it was hard at first because normally I don't. Anybody that knows me knows I don't talk a lot about my business. But I knew coming from this that I needed to, because there are so many people that are going through something similar, or they may be where I was back in 2009 and 2010, which was the absolute lowest point of my life. And nothing makes sense. And you feel like you're just spinning in this lost cloud. But to say, hey, there is something down the road. There is a light at the end. You can take a saying that I was told was before, it was, the same water that hardens an egg softens a potato. What happens to you, you choose how you let it affect you. And my favorite symbol is an arrow, because as hard as it is, and you feel like everything's just pushing against you and working back, an arrow, if you think about it, if it's not pulled back to the point it almost breaks, it has no velocity to move forward. Wow. It would just fall right in front of it. So sometimes you have to be pulled back to the verge of breaking to propel you into what you're meant to do.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, I think that every day that we go through our lives, we are able to see that more and more, right? We start to trust in life itself more and more of the obstacles and it's just things that's going to be in our pathway. We won't have, any way of seeing that beforehand. So when it comes, we just need to deal with it the best way we know how. And we become stronger. and we can see beyond the the veil. We can see beyond, it's a lot more clearer to us because we experience so much, you know so I totally understand where you're coming from with that. Just the motivation, the dedication, the discipline behind all of this to get it from birth, all from the inception all the way to birth. That is phenomenal, and you did it really in a short period of time.
Fairly short, yes.
It may not feel like it at that time.
No, I mean, in one moment it seems like, oh my gosh, it's been forever, but then like you blink and it's like, what? Like even now, like I have these Google alerts and I'll see things and it'll pop up, and just like you were saying earlier, like companies writing about, like when dentistry says something about it, it was featured in Dental Products Report, which is a big, amazing dental publication. That's incredible. But to have these tech companies that just randomly select and use and bang around on apps and do these reviews, to have them say, this is incredible. It's just like,
okay, wow, right.
What?
Right.
I did that.
Absolutely.
Like, I did that.
Absolutely.
And I'm so excited about what's coming next. It's like if we're able to this.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I can only imagine what you could have down the line. Let's go into that. What is next for you, Sarah?
Well, I won't go into a lot of details. I will say I had the incredible opportunity to join ATDC here at Georgia Tech, which is the Advanced Technology Development Center. Incredible group of talent and resources there. So hopefully we will be doing some even grander things than have happened so far. And
I can't wait to see.
Yes.
I can't wait to see what happens. Hopefully we have another interview and I'm over here like, wow, no way,
Yes.
like, it's been featured in so many, I'm pretty sure a lot more magazines and things like that. That will be so amazing to actually see what comes from this, Sarah.
Yes.
Really hope the best on that for you. So if a woman is looking to get into the same thing, like if she's going through some things, she's just unsure about money and creating this idea into this app, what suggestions would you give?
Definitely do your research first, because it's not cheap. The last thing you ever want to do is go spending all this to realize it's already out there, you just didn't know about it. And that's where a huge bulk of the expense came in. You're doing trademark searches, patentability searches, because it's like, I had never seen anything about it, but it's like, okay, I don't know everything, is it out there and I'm just not aware of it? It comes back that it's completely novel. There's no such thing out there. So it's like, all right, we're going to do this and make it happen. Know your market. And the biggest thing I could say is don't do it unless it is something that from your core being, you are so passionate about, because it's hard. It is hard. You will lose a lot of sleep. You will have highs, you will have lows. You'll feel like you're in over your head. And if it weren't something that was just a true passion, I don't know if I could have continued through it, because you get a lot of things thrown at you. You get a lot of negativity. You get people stealing stuff from you left and right. You get people attacking and threatening you when you launch, and it's a lot. But deep down, I know that I'm doing this for a reason, and God made me a stubborn little thing for a reason. So I'm just going to do it. But yeah, I mean, use your networks. I'm so grateful for the entrepreneur Facebook group that I was able to connect with Robin on. She got me to the developers that are absolutely phenomenal and just really made happen. Use your connections, who do you know, find support and encouragement for what you're doing. And the biggest thing too is, who cares if people tell you you're crazy?
That's right. That's right.
People will say, oh, that's foolish, that's silly. Just because you don't have the cojones to do it, don't take mine.
That's right.
But
thank you.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you.
Exactly.
Well, good. So I just want I want people to know. Oh, one more question before we end, because I was like, well, have you thought about actually coaching on how to create and develop apps?
A lot of things in mind for what I could do, and that is one of the things that I've thought about is with the connections that I've made with Robin and the team. There are so many people that are like me, and they have these great ideas, but they don't really know where to go. And to be like, hey, you have questions here, we can answer your questions. We can help you do this and guide you to, hey, this is that, because, whether you're doing it native or iOS, Android, there are 1,000 different things that you can do. And it certainly has crossed my mind, and it may be pinned in the future.
We'll see. Only thing we can do is see, right?
Absolutely.
The way you're going, you just never know.
Exactly. There's no such thing as limits.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for that. So if you could just tell everyone now where they can find you and also your app.
Absolutely. I'm on all social media, Sarah Penland, that is me, live, real person. And the app, Stopgap Dental, it's available to download in the App Store and on Google Play. We're running right now. We're doing some amazing updates that are going to be coming out soon. So if you've not downloaded it yet and you work in the dental industry, you need to download it. It is absolutely a life and game changer, and you definitely don't want to miss what we have coming up next.
Perfect. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Just encourage people. That's all I can say, is you never know what someone is going through and what light you can be to them. Show a little kindness. Like I said, it's free. Sprinkle that shit on everything. Anywhere you go, be kind, hold a door, tell somebody, walk past a stranger, tell them their hair looks nice, whatever. Just be kind.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. And
Thank you.
Take that into consideration. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. I love it. And if anybody wants to be on the Renee Adams Show, you can inbox me and contact me if you have an inspiring story or product that you would like to promote. And also we have Empowerment Week all week this week. So a lot of great stories, inspiration. If you're looking to, just find ways to do new things or just change your life, this would be like the perfect, one of the perfect weeks that, of course, that I have every month, or at least I try. At least I was like in my mood. You guys all know. But I appreciate your support. And thank you again, Sarah, for coming on with your beautiful inspiration. I really appreciate it. And have a good night, everyone. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.